Alright, it's time to talk about the most infamous Halloween movie out of the whole franchise. The one where they ditch Michael Myers. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is directed by Tommy Lee Wallace and stars Tom Atkins, Dan O'Hurley, and is an anthology story because they decided, you know what? We've said all we can say about Michael Myers in the first two. The first one, legendary classic. That's all they really needed. And then let's continue it more the night he came home. Well, it'll be a lot more slashery and way forgettable and kind of boring, but we'll add little elements like, spoiler alert, they made Jamie Lee Curtis, turns out Laurie's Michael's long-lost younger sister and stuff like that. They're trying to add mythology. And then, okay, we're gonna for sure kill Michael and Loomis off a double explosion and it's over, right? But now they want to do something else. Anthology, I respect that idea. Just tell new stories. Like Halloween can be more than just Michael Myers. It's about a whole season and the creepy stuff that could happen. I respect that. The problem is with this movie, they went out there and went with like the most crazy story possible. Tom Atkins plays a doctor who gets pulled into this mystery, this shady corporation, Silver Shamrock. They're making these Halloween masks, and this girl's dad, he's killed for it by these weird people. It's very shady, it's a mystery. He's going in trying to figure out what's going on, and what he uncovers is the most insane, crazy, illogical, weird nonsense I've ever seen in a movie. And I'm just gonna say it, I don't want to necessarily spoil this for anyone who hasn't seen it, because I think hearing me talk about what's in this movie without context of seeing it is gonna make me sound insane. You'll be like, that's not possible. They wouldn't do that in a movie. So I'll be honest, I recommend going to watch it first to see for yourself. You kinda have to see this for yourself to believe it. But yeah, in this movie, they ditch Michael Myers. They set it up at the beginning like Tom Atkins is watching TV. There's an ad for John Carpenter's Halloween saying, this is the real world. Sure it is, because he's a doctor, and yeah, Tom Atkins, I think he's fine in the movie. He's like, what I like is he's a flawed hero, you know? That's nice to have heroes that aren't exactly goody two-shoes. This guy, he's a divorced doctor who's a womanizer, a drunk, but you kind of like him anyway, because it's like, okay, you're gonna be our hero, that's fine. The issue is he's not super likable. It's just like, alright, we got this flawed dude that's kind of whatever, and we're gonna follow him. It's like, they could have maybe wrote a more interesting character, but he's our everyman. He's going into it. We're slowly being revealed more and more, and at first it is kind of interesting, like, what is going on? Like, I remember watching this for the first time, kind of just more arms crossed, upset, like, there's no Michael Myers, this sucks. And the movie itself didn't help with that. But this time I was like, alright, let's see. They're slowly revealing it. And it's kind of interesting at first, but then at a certain point it drags, gets a little boring, but it's overall just like, I like some of the mood. It's got a very moody, atmospheric, Halloween-y type movie. It's set at Halloween. The music, John Carpenter and Alan Howarth, again, working on it. This is a good score. I like it. It puts me in the vibe. When it's October, the fall season, I like to listen to it. And the cinematography, Dean Cundy, who is the cinematographer for the first three only, like, they all have a consistent look of this nice fall-looking Halloween-y vibe and atmosphere. They all look how they should. It puts you in the mood for a creepy little Halloween story. And the mystery, oh boy, because we got the old man from RoboCop, Dan O'Hurley. He's playing Connell Cochran, who basically, oh, this is just ridiculous. Like, I'll put it this way, if this movie was just like a Twilight Zone or something like that, if it was an hour-long TV episode, maybe it'd work better because they'd be able to speed it up, and maybe it would be a little bit more logical. I don't know. It's just thinking, the fact that this is set in the Halloween universe and they never did any more anthologies makes it look all the, like if they never did another Michael Myers movie and there was Halloween 3 and then 4, 5, 6, 7 or something were all anthologies, maybe it'd look better in retrospect. But yeah, this story's crazy, and I'm going to spoil it now because I just got to get into it. Tom Atkins and the lady, hot, young, 20 years younger than him girl that they end up sleeping with and stuff, they're on this mystery. Figure out what happened to her dad, because like a dude pulled his skull apart at one point and then set himself on fire and blew himself up. It's like, that's fucked up. And then what we realize is they're in this town of a bunch of Irish people, and it's all a conspiracy controlled by cameras, and they're watching everyone, because it turns out Connell Cochran, the guy who is Dan O'Hurley, the old man from RoboCop, he has a big old conspiracy where he has an army of robots that all look the same. It's like a bunch of Mr. Smiths from The Matrix, so obviously the Wachowskis ripped this off. I'm sure they did, actually. I'm sure they watched this over and over. But he's got an army of robots, so like he punches a hole in them and it's like a bunch of mustard for blood. And like they're super strong. He's got these robots, and these masks have special qualities because They stole a rock from Stonehenge. I don't know how. They don't want to tell you either. They literally just go, you wouldn't believe what it took to get it here. Trust me. It's a crazy story, but I won't tell you because Conal Cochran basically becomes a Bond villain. They're in this factory, and it starts almost like Willy Wonka, where you got like this family of these sort of unlikable morons, where it's like the kid and the parents, whatever. And like, yeah, he's kind of the old man's hammy playing it up a little. We're in this magical factory of wonders, except it's just masks, so who gives a shit? But for some reason, these masks are a cultural phenomenon, and every kid is wearing a pumpkin, a witch, or a skeleton mask. No one wants to dress up like Batman or Superman or anything. These three basic masks. It's just the culture accepting originality's dead. Take these three mass-produced masks, that's it. Have no originality, nothing special about your own costume. I swear to God, if I would have been alive in this movie, I'd be the one kid that wouldn't have anything bad happen because I'd be dressed like Batman. They're in this Willy Wonka type factory though, and it takes the subtext of Willy Wonka and makes it just blatant because, yeah, he kills them. It turns out these masks, when played with the commercial, that happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, silver shamrock, which gets stuck in your fucking head. When you play that, there's strobe effects like fucking old Pokemon, and you think that'd be enough. But then it causes they have a little tag on the back, and it's got like microchips, and the rock from Stonehenge, they chip off little particles and stuff them in. So with the strobe effects in the song, it shoots a laser in the back of the kid's head. It rots and like collapses, and then bugs and snakes and a bunch of gross spiders and stuff climb out, which is admittedly fucking disturbing and scary. That part is really effective. The problem, it's so tonally inconsistent with the rest of the movie. It starts as a slow mystery, but then it becomes kind of hammy with like these killer robot armies, and then a kid violently dies. Like his head's like a rotted pumpkin smashing open basically with a bunch of disgusting shit coming out. It's like, what the fuck? That's like really dark and messed up, and it doesn't go with this sort of more campy story. They don't mix. It's super fucked up and effective and disturbing. The only part of the movie that's really effective is that part, and I guess when they pull the guy's skull apart, that's pretty fucked up. And that's his plan basically, is all these kids around the world, it's gonna be a sacrifice, using Stonehenge rock magic with strobe lights and music and shit. They're gonna laser the back of every kid's head and kill them all. It's a weird pagan ritual sacrifice, and you know what, it serves the little bastards right. There's three masks, you couldn't be more original. Dress like fucking Batman, Superman, it was like 1982, Superman was the shit still. Dress like Superman, not like a fucking pumpkin. It serves you right, you little bastards. And it even makes me think, what the hell was he gonna do like November 1st? Like, how do you explain that now? Hey, your masks killed every kid in the world. You're going to jail now. It's illogical. But the ending also, like he's escaping and his girlfriend turns out to be an android, which is kind of obvious. He escapes and he blows up the factory, and then like he's on the phone and you can tell it's 80s. There's 3 TV channels. That's kind of funny. There's only 3. Shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. And then there's not, and it's like they got it off on 2, but there's 1 channel left, and it's this haunting sort of ambiguity. Did they shut it off, or did every kid in the world die? Like, that kind of works, but not with the rest of the movie. It's so tonally inconsistent. It's like, okay, this campy weird story of Stonehenge and robot armies goes with the mass slaughtering of children around the world. Yeah, this movie's a big old bag of what the fuck. Like, so often in this movie, it's just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy. This movie is insane. And I'll be honest, it could have worked as an episode of TV. That could have possibly worked. Not here. The writing, whoo, it's crazy. Totally inconsistent. It's just crazy. And like the acting is okay. Like, Dan O'Hurley's fun and campy enough. I didn't mind Tom Atkins. Everyone else is whatever. But, and I almost don't want to hate on it too bad because I feel sorry for it at this point. But the movie's fucking crazy. You went from Michael Myers to this, and it's just no wonder they abandoned the anthology. This thing was shat upon and hated, and I can't blame them. Like, it starts out with some promise and just goes into... But you gotta watch it. It's something I'll probably end up watching every Halloween because it's just one of the craziest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. It's insane, but it's not very good. Like I said, it's just too campy and inconsistent with something truly horrifying with silliness. I'll be honest, I wish it was just super fucking crazy the whole way through, but it starts out kind of seemingly like just a mystery, but then it gets kind of boring and then goes to Crazy Town. It's just overall... The movie, it's not a good movie. It's something I kind of like in a very guilty pleasure way and like to watch, but it's a huge guilty pleasure. And in the past, I shat all over this movie, said it was horrible. Now I can see It's horrible, but it's fun to watch because it's so crazy. But it's not a good movie by any means, really. The little positives you can pick out, like that's not a bad performance, or that is a disturbing scene. Overall, this movie's still really terrible. It's a really bad movie, and I feel bad almost picking on it because it's like I really do respect they were trying to do something different. They didn't want to just rely on Michael Myers and dragging it out over and over again. Who cares why he's back? Just do it. Like they had an artistic enough reason to try something new. And it failed miserably, and that's why I'm still like gonna shit on it. I feel bad about it because they were trying. And sadly, even though it's got its crazy parts, it's still kind of a dull movie. It had an interesting premise, but just poorly executed, dull. It didn't engage me. I wanted to just grab my phone. Okay, let's look at Twitter or something. Something more interesting than this movie. Halloween 3 has its charms, and it's a movie I'd like to watch like during Halloween season. It's something that's like, it puts you in the mood even if it's truly terribly awful. It's a guilty pleasure. It's atrocious. It's a crime against humanity a little bit. I'd give Halloween 3 Season of the Witch an F. This movie is just, it's terrible, but it's the kind of terrible that's kind of interesting, kind of fun to watch, but still terrible nonetheless. So comment below, tell me your thoughts on Halloween 3, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time when we talk Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.